Right, 1944 WLA. Came in for a tune-up. Fit the WLDR back pipe, straight through pipe. And had a rear mudguard. It was their reproduction ones made in India. I think probably made in India. They're absolutely bloody terrible things.
Okay.
Nothing fits. So to make it fit, you've got to assemble it, take it apart, assemble it, cut all your stays and all sorts of bits and pieces. You had to take the back wheel out because you've got to put your mounting bolt in behind there. There was no mounting bolt for the exhaust hanger. Exhaust, it was covered with the exhaust wrap, but there was so much exhaust wrap on it, that pipe there has to sit close to the tappet chest.
Yeah.
To bring it round like that. All this was hanging off and loose. So bringing it back round, fitting the tailpipe correctly. It's got the original bracket on there. Made that one because it didn't have it. Welded all the bottom up because that was completely rusted out. Could do with new downpipes realistically, but they'll survive, you know.
Yeah.
Welded all the holes up for the time being. Reset the tappets, reset the timing. So the next thing, possibly the guy, we don't know yet, wants the tanks painted like navy blue and the rear mudguard, but I stutter every now and again, sorry. It's just part of whatever happened to me. The rear mudguard just didn't fit at all. I mean, the original Harley, this here, that metal there,
yeah,
it's probably 1/8 of an inch thick. This is just, it's all just flimsy and horrible. Okay, so that cross piece was originally here, which doesn't line up with where it should line up to on the battery bolts, the battery tray bolts.
Yeah.
So basically it was just trying to line everything up to fit, to keep the radius so it looks okay with the wheel, because it was sitting right up here.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a good guide point, that one, which sits in the middle of the frame there behind the gearbox. So had to space it out a bit, so it all sort of lines up now. We'll get that one on. It's all a bit.
So that front bracket is where you would start the actual.
Yeah, because you want to get it somewhere near where it should be. You know,
Yeah.
that's a fixed point as such, if you know what I mean. We get a nut on there. So that's started, and the next ones you want to get on is your stays. So these were, I don't know, about 3/4 of an inch too long.
Okay.
So I'll cut that one on that brake line there, because you want to maintain your height on that. You don't want to shorten that because your brake rod has to clear, yeah?
Yeah.
So that one goes on there. You'll never get the radius to match perfectly to the wheel, because of even the original Harley mudguards aren't perfectly aligned to the wheel.
Right.
It does change between 18s and 16-inch rims as well, slightly. But you just got to go with the best you can, you know. So we've got that there. Where's the special bolt for that? That's that one. Like I say, they're all these holes I've got to Dremel out, and I'll probably find the centre where the hole should be properly, because that just looks horrible.
Yeah.
And fill those back up.
Okay. Yeah.
So it tidies it up. And then you've got to line up your battery tray bolts for these ones. So that was up there originally,
Okay.
that bracket, so it's completely wrong, so I'll just put it on and tacked it. Obviously I've got to tidy all the welds up and stuff. Right, where's my podger? And you got to get that in there. These are notorious for not fitting, these, or even on all the right Harleys, they don't fit. And then you've got to put that bracket back on, which holds your toolbox.
Yeah.
So that bolts on there and onto that as well, onto that back bolt. So they build it, so you've got to put a nut through that way, a bolt through that way.
Yeah.
And you can't see the head of it, so you have to wiggle around and get a ratchet on it and then do that one up. All these bolts are too long. I've got to either get some shorter ones or cut them down. So they all, and then the other one is always a little bit far out on there, but that'll pull in then. So you have to put a short bolt in that one, because the battery box wasn't bolted onto anything. Didn't have a bolt in there. So it's all getting your final alignments. It's only just loosely bolted in, you know. So that one's got to go through there. That'll just need dremeling out a little bit. But when you stand back and look at it, well, you can see straight through there, can't you?
Yeah.
And you can see straight through there.
Yeah.
That one, if you put it on the top of the tyre, it's down at that angle.
Okay.
So that radius of the actual mudguard doesn't actually fit the radius of the tyre, but you've got to try and make it the best you can aesthetically to look at.
I was going to say, what's the priority? Aesthetics?
Yeah, it's got to look right. Well, in my eyes.
Yeah.
So I had to cut that stay there, and I had to cut that stay there and reduce them, so shortening the stays so you can get all your nuts and bolts in properly, yeah? Which it didn't line up at all. So it's not bad.
It looks pretty good actually.
It's not bad left to right. It's a little bit too far that way, but when I bolt it all back on, I'll give it a tweak. But the way these are rolled, the way they're made, the originals are pressed steel. Yeah, so you'd have a great big 400 ton press, you slide a bit of metal in it, ka-chonk. But these ones, that bit is rolled, and these side sections are welded in. So there's a weld line about there, all the way around there.
Right.
You put that much heat into anything, going to do that. So they actually twist. You look at the mudguard and you'd expect the curve to go like that. They don't. They go like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like spiral.
Yeah.
So they sort of spiral. So you've got to piss around with it, bend it here, bend it there, and try and make it. Because realistically, it's better when it's all bolted up.
Yeah, definitely.
Hard, obviously. You've got to get it all nice and tight.
But it pulls it into line, doesn't it?
Well, better than it is, yeah. If you look at the back, it wants to be there. Only a quarter of an inch.
Okay, yeah.
You see it on the tyre line.
Yeah.
So from there to there.
Yeah.
So what I'll do when it's all bolted up hard, I'll give it a good yank. You don't worry about bending it. You know what? You won't deform the mudguard as such.
Yeah.
So you just got to bend it into shape, yeah. But when you look at them, you look at that swage line there. They're just cheap copy mudguards. That's why everybody wants original stuff.
Yeah.
I'll have to speak to Joe whether he wants these radiused or not. It looks a bit quirky with just a sharp edge. See, in my eyes, I'd put just a radius on that. I think that'd look better. But customer's choice, you know.
What would the originals look like? I guess radius, wouldn't they?
Well, totally different because the original comes down to about there.
Yeah.
Then you have your hinge and your rear section.
Oh, that's very true. Yeah,
folds down, but they are radiused on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are radiused. And the other thing was the seat was all up here and all over the place, so I had to cut the seat bracket so we can re-weld it, just because it had a tubular bar in there with horrible nuts and bolts and stuff in it. It just looked horrible, so I wanted that doing, which I've done. Just needs a little weld up, but as I said, I don't really want to go any further at the moment.
Yeah.
Because if he does want us to paint the mudguard and paint the tanks, there's no point in
putting it all together
and taking it all apart again.
Yeah.
You know, I quite like the tanks in the white, cream, whatever it is. But see, there's cracks in the paintwork, so it'll all need flattened down, little bits and pieces on it. Fill it all up because he wants to put wants it pigeon blue, it's called, a navy, US Navy colour.
Okay.
And then he wants to put transfers on it. But again, customer's choice. I think it will look quite different. Leave that black, obviously, I would say. Leave centre band black. Yeah, it'll look a bit different, I think.
All in all, what's the bike like?
Alright, yeah, seems good. We've gone through it, all the wheel bearings and everything are good. Timing was a bit out, tappets were a bit out. Nothing major, like I said, I haven't heard it running at all, so change that exhaust pipe, I'll give it a run up. It's got electronic ignition fitted, so I didn't have to put any points or condenser in it. The only thing I don't know about at the moment is the carburetor, but he said it ran reasonably okay.
Okay.
But people's idea of things running okay and what's actually right or wrong are very different, aren't they? But it's got some nice bits on it, like obviously done in the bobber style. It's got chunky tyres on it. It's got an original radio suppressed oil tank on it. And you've got your strap there. You've got a bolt on the bottom of the oil pickup there, and the hole in the cylinder head to take the radio suppression strap.
When you say radio suppression, what does that exactly mean?
Do you remember when you were a kid and somebody rode past on a fizzy and your telly went?
I'm not that old.
No?
No.
Not that old. So it's just it's radio waves of some sort. I don't know. It interferes with like radio communications.
Right.
So if you were on the front line calling back, drop a bomb here.
Yeah.
You go because your bike's running. That's what it was for.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
it will suppress that signal and
Yes.
wouldn't interrupt the.
yeah. So
radio.
you had different coil with earth grounding straps everywhere, and another. Trying to think what they're called.
Capacitor, wasn't it?
Capacitor, yeah, maybe that was it. So it's got a round one on the side of there, should have another one on here, which has got one there, but that's not original. And they had a blue S painted here
Right.
when they were radio suppressed.
Why were some radio suppressed and some not?
They bought it in after a certain date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 44 was probably are the original tanks, because 44 would have had radio suppression.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact times and dates and things, you know. But yeah, later on in the war they bought it all, so it was
Okay.
it was fitted standard. And if you had the spot lamp on here, you had another relay down there. It's all bought in after.
Yeah.
Actually, the first ones had the spot lamp here with no relay down there, and it all did was the batteries up.
Yeah.
So they put another relay in. It's just as it progressed, you know.
Yeah.
As wartime progressed, they found things wrong with them and
Yeah.
developed it as they went on, you know. Gearbox nice and tight. Reset the clutch, that needed doing. All the lights work. I've got wire in the back light, which is easy enough to do. Got to weld a little bracket on there, because that is only bolted on your spindle nut, so that eventually will just vibrate loose.
Yeah.
So I've got to weld a little bracket on there so it'll pick up on that bolt as well to stop it rotating.
Yeah.
But that's aluminium. I ground it all off, cut a bit of metal, I'll weld it on there, and one bit's aluminium and one bit's steel, so that won't work. Brake rod's bent, I'll straighten that out. Yeah, it's got some nice bits on it. Original switch on there, that's original, which is nice. Reproduction face, reproduction cat's eyes. Tanks caps are right. Yeah, it's just a genuine old bike, I think, you know. Right, a tip for anybody who's building one of these: when you put your battery box back in, make sure that these two tangs that hold the lid on are facing straight up, because once you've bolted it all up, you can't get that past the frame. You've got to take it all out again. So what I normally do is push them up like that, put a rubber band around them, so when it goes in you know that they're upright, because see, you've got to take the whole thing out again to do that.
Bit of a pain.
Yeah.
Done that.
Done that. Got the t-shirt on that one, yeah. Yeah, it's just one of them silly little things that you remember, you just think, yeah.